Hey everyone, my name is Lauren. I work with the Central Arkansas Library System as a small business programmer. This is a part of our monthly series now where I interview a small business owner that works in Little Rock and ask them to share a little bit about their business experiences. Today I've got Nitzia David, owner of Nitzia's Design. She's a small business running her own floral arrangement company. So Nitzia, if you want to go ahead and take the floor, tell us a little about yourself.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me. And well, it's just great to be with all of you and just share a little bit about my journey as a small business owner and my experiences. So I'm excited to be here with all of you.
So just to jump right in, can you tell me a little bit more about how you got the concept for your business idea?
Yes. Okay. So I love flowers. I'm a florist, and that's my business. I do flowers for
Mhm,
people. I have always loved flowers ever since I'm a little girl. My mom loved flowers, and so I always wanted to work with flowers, but
mhm,
it just seemed like a really hard thing to do. It was just something I just saw on pictures or at the stores, that kind of thing. So I just really never approached that myself until, I became a mom and
mhm,
I wanted to decorate my home and things like that. So I started working on that more and I just became really passionate about flowers, just doing flowers myself for people.
mhm,
Um, I just really wanted to create something that would make people happy.
mhm,
So I started, decorating for baby showers, bridal
mhm,
showers, and stuff like that. So friends and family started noticing, what I was doing, and they started asking me to do that for them. So my concept pretty much comes from, just what people like and what they don't
mhm.
like. I just
Right.
start reading, what is it that people really like, and but you have to be happy with what you are doing. So I
Right.
realized after time that people started noticing. I didn't even create this concept myself. I guess it was from people that started saying you have a garden look style. And I thought, okay, well, I guess I do. So I guess, like my concept pretty much came from my clients, that start asking me and noticing that I have a very specific style, which is a garden look style. So
Mhm,
that's the concept, behind my business, pretty much as far as the style goes.
mhm. Well, thank you for sharing that. Can you tell us more about the garden style? Is it, I don't know too much about floral arrangement, but what sets garden style separate from the rest of the floral arrangement styles?
Yes, it's that natural, organic look. That was my goal from the beginning. I wanted to do something different. If I was going to get in the business of flowers, I didn't want to do what everybody else was doing in the area. I wanted to be set apart from all the other floral designers as much as I could. And everybody has their own style, right? So I
Mhm,
wanted to just identify myself as somebody that is doing something different. So whenever I create an arrangement or anything I do, my goal is to emulate nature. I want to be able to recreate, what it's out there outside. When you go outside and you look, when you're driving, you see all those fields, with
mhm,
flowers and or maybe just trees, like the trees have their own movement. And I absolutely love that. So I don't like those super tight. And, I have requests for bouquets like that. They like them tight and round, which is fine. Everybody, I want to make everybody happy, but my style is always loose and open. And, I like to have movement in my arrangements, that emulate, nature, that look as
mhm.
natural as and organic as possible.
That's really interesting. Thank you for telling me more about that. So now that you said, how long have you been in business at this point?
3 years. So officially, as a business, I've been doing it longer, but as a business, I have been doing this for only 3 years. Mhm.
So how do you advertise your business and products?
Okay, so the advertisement is key in everything you do, especially when you are a small business
Mhm,
owner. I didn't want to get in debt, when I started this. I didn't want to go and invest a lot of money on magazines and advertisement online and this and that. It's great. Some people can do it. But for what I was doing, I wanted to do it small. I start from home and see what worked and what didn't work. So the best thing for me to do was social media. Social media is free. I did Facebook and Instagram. Those have been my best tools to advertise. Now, the other thing to do was to create arrangements and give them out to businesses, in the area. Like I wanted the people in my area, which is Saline County, I wanted them to know about me. So I would go to gyms, I would go to hair salons, and just bring them an arrangement and some of them would let me leave my cards there, because most of these people are people I already knew, so they allow me to do that. So you contact people, just knock on doors and say, hey, would you let me do this for you? So you pretty much give away your work, at first, so people can see what you are capable of doing. So I did a lot of social media and giving away, arrangements to people. So that's pretty much how everybody started noticing more about me. And I contacted a few bakeries that because that's one of the things that I want to do in the future as a business. I would love to open a place where I can have a coffee shop and a flower shop, and people can watch me work while they are drinking their coffee or whatever, so that's something that I really wanted to do. So I started going to bakeries, and they allow me to sell my flowers there. So they would give away my cards, and that's how people started hearing more about me. And a lot of my clients have come from them, from those bakeries where I have taken my flowers to. So I have had an amazing support, from other small, local businesses in the area.
I think that's amazing. So do you think that a more extroverted approach and also contacting other small businesses to try to get your products out
Yes.
there is very beneficial?
Most definitely. And I'll be honest with you. It is hard. You said the word extrovert. Yes. If you're an introvert, then that might be a little harder. But in order for you to accomplish those things that you want to do in your business, to get your name out there, you're gonna have to go and knock on doors. You have to ask people to help you. And yes, you will get a lot of no's. You will. Like, for example, I reached out to somebody as far as education goes, because there were so many questions I had about how to do this and how to do that. There's a lot of resources out there as far as education that are offered, but they are just really expensive. And at the time, I couldn't afford that because I was starting my business. I didn't want to invest money that I didn't know if I was going to be able to get it back. So I was trying to get to people, like, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? I would knock on doors on that too. And some of them would not be willing to share with you, how they did things. They are very jealous of their work, and that's okay. I respect that. So I want to say, especially a huge thanks to those that are willing to share their work, like all those tutorials online. There are people that are willing to teach you for free. They just post on social media, YouTube, all those things that they do to share with you, because you just have to get out of your comfort zone and ask and look and see what's available out there. But yes, asking people for help is the hardest thing, to do, but you have to, in order for you to get your product out there.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. So you've been in business for, you said 3 years at this point. What would you attribute to your business's success? Was it a mix of, planning, or did you just hit the ground running and you just happened to kind of get lucky per se?
Not at all. No, it's not a matter of luck. I can say I'm blessed, very blessed. That's what I have a faith. And I did ask the Lord, hey, tell me this direction I'm supposed to go. If it's not, shut the door right in front of me. So, and he has opened door after door. It's meant to be, it was meant to be. But I have to tell you that, yes, it is a lot of tears and a lot of, sweating and tears, like it's not easy to get to where you need to be. As of right now, this is my 3rd year, and I'm already booked for the year for weddings and events. So I already closed my calendar for the rest of the year because I'm already booked. So I'm so thankful for the people choosing me, all those brides and people that have chosen me to do their events and weddings, that they have trusted me, but they have seen my work. And that's the key of success, I believe. You have to be willing, you have to be teachable. What is it that I want to accomplish? I want people to like my product. I want people to love what they see when I deliver some flowers, I want them to love my product.
Mhm.
So, but to get, it doesn't happen overnight. I look at my flowers when I had just started and I think, wow, I've come a long way. I didn't start just making beautiful arrangements. I messed up a lot. Not everything was wonderful and beautiful, but you learn. And like I said, I reach out to people, I reach out to tutorials and all those things that were available out there to me. And you have to leave room for growth. You have to be able to grow and be willing to grow so you can so you can deliver the best product out there. This is the one thing about being a small business owner. To me personally, it's all about the quality, not so much about the quantity, but the quality. So
Mhm.
when you focus on the quality and you grow as you go and you are willing to listen to criticism when people come and tell you, you know what, Nitzia, what if maybe you do this instead of that? You have to listen.
Right.
Not everything applies, but you have to be willing to listen to
Mhm.
advice and criticism from people, from clients. So that's exactly what I have been doing, and it just has been wonderful. It has been very helpful to me, so I believe that part of the success that I've had is just that, I have allowed myself to grow and listen to people and, to people's needs and just continue educating myself to better my product.
So much for that. So you mentioned that you have to leave yourself room to grow. What are some of your company's goals at this current moment?
Yes. So my goal is, one of the things that I would love to do is to get more help. Because as I'm growing, you see the need of having people to come
Mhm.
to jump on board with me. When you're a small business owner, you pretty much start doing everything yourself. You do a lot of it yourself, and that can be overwhelming. That is one of those things that I would do over again. Just trying to train myself first and then others so they can help you.
Right.
So most definitely one of my goals is to have a couple more people helping me with the design part, because as of
Mhm.
right now, because like I said, I want to deliver quality. And when people contact me is because they like what they see, they like my work. So I pretty much do all of the design. So my goal right now is to teach and train, others, so
Mhm.
that way I can have more help when I have the bigger events, that way I'm not doing everything by myself, because that can
Right.
be overwhelming.
Right. It sounds like it's a lot of planning, a lot of hard work to put
Yes,
in.
it
So,
is. It is. It really is from the start, because you have to prepare, you have a consultation, and then you have to prepare a quote. You have to come up with a recipe for all the things, So I do a lot
mhm.
of that myself. So yes, most definitely. So have somebody else. And also, um, one of my goals, like I said at the beginning, I still want to have a place where people can gather and come and have a cup of coffee and enjoy each other's company and watch me work. I
Right.
love to share, because I like I said, when I knocked on doors, some of the people that I approached would not be willing to share with
Mhm.
me, their tricks and how they did things. So I don't want to be like that. I want
Right.
to be, I'm willing to share how it's done, because I think the world is big enough. There's enough room for all of us out there. So
Mhm.
I want people to feel free to come and ask me, how do you make this? To give them some tips and things that work and things that don't work. I want to have a place where I can teach people and where people can feel free to ask questions and ask
Right.
me. And so I would love to have that at some point. I don't know when that's going to
Mhm.
happen, but I just hope that I get to do that at some point. So yeah, those are my main two goals that I want to
Mhm.
accomplish in the next year.
I think those are amazing goals. And I think it's really admirable that you noticed that there maybe wasn't a lack of people that were willing to help, but just some people just weren't willing to help. And so you want to make sure for the future that other people can come to you to help. And I think that's
Right.
that's very admirable.
Thank you.
Next is what are your responsibilities as a small business owner?
Well, like I mentioned, a while ago, I have to do pretty much all of what is behind the scenes, as far as prepping the work. I do hire, people to come and help me when flowers, you have to clean the stems and everything, and that takes a lot of time. So just asking people to come and help me with that so I can take care of other things.
Mhm.
So my responsibility is pretty much is just pretty much everything. I
Mhm.
do it all as of right now. I take care, from the moment the person contacts me, I try to contact them back in a timely manner, just try to get back to them and arrange, an appointment. What is it that you want, and just ask the questions, come up with a quote, send it back to them, and then, just finalize all the details. So pretty much everything, I'm still, in the process of being a small business owner, and I'm still doing a lot of it by myself, so maybe once I get that place, I'll have to get, more people on board to say, hey, you take care of the appointments, you take care of the quotes, and I take care of the design part.
Right.
That's one of the things I would like to do, because I'm more of a creative person. I'm not so much of that, the taking care of the business part of it. That has been a little challenging for me, but it's a learning experience as well. When you own a business, you have to know every single area of your business. So it has been good that I have been doing it all by myself right now, because when the time comes to where I can expand and I can bring people on board, I will know exactly, what to be asking for,
Right.
and the level of quality that I want, people to bring into the table with me, so for sure, I think that just as far responsibilities are all on me now, but
Right.
eventually, hopefully, delegate that to somebody else.
So can you give me a roundabout figure of how many days, how many hours on average you'd say you'd work a day? Because it sounds like
My
there's a
goodness,
lot. There's a lot you have to do.
that's actually scary. I have not even, it is really, it's a lot. Like the flower industry, the wedding industry can be exhausting, and that is one of the reasons that's one of the things I would say when you start your own business, whatever it is. In my case, it's flowers. I can spend 48 hours straight, working when there's it depends on the event. If it's a large event, a small event, I have gone to bed at 2 a.m. in the morning and get up again at 5. So I only sleep about 3 hours, and, which is
Goodness.
crazy. People think it's crazy, that I do that, but that is the reason that right now I'm only taking 1 or 2 events a month, because it is exhausting. And I am a mom and I am a wife, and I still have to be there for my family. That's my priority. So I have to guard my time, with my family. So, and in order for me to be able to enjoy what I'm doing and to deliver the best product I can out there, I have to guard my time. So yeah, there are a couple weeks in the month that I'm working like crazy, hours and hours and hours on my feet. So I would say, like, I mean, if just within a week, the actual work, it's 48 hours, but then the prep work, it takes other, 8 hours or 10 hours, so it can be very exhausting for sure. I mean, it is a lot. And then just from the moment that you leave your house to go and pick up the flowers, that's just something that, because I get flowers from different places, not just one place. So I try to shop for the best deals and the best, quality out there. So I have to drive around town, picking up flowers. So a lot of times, when I come up with my final quote, people think I'm just charging for cost. I'm charging you for my time and my talent as well. So,
Right, of
so
course.
yeah, there's a ton of hours invested, in the end result, the end product.
So I know burnout is an issue that a lot of small businesses experience, where they put so much into it and then they wear themselves out to where they don't enjoy it anymore. Would you say that making sure that you, like you said, do save time to yourself and your family and try to keep your business separate from that is one of the most, it's pretty important to avoiding burnout?
Yes, for sure. And I will just say something. I had to learn to say no. That is the hardest thing ever, as a small business owner. When you start your journey, you say yes pretty much to everything, because you want people to get to know you. You want to be able to get your product out there and for people to see what you're doing. So I would say yes to everything. So the first year I was pretty much gone every weekend. I was doing things every week, little things, big things, even things that were not really my thing, my style, but I was still willing to do it because I wanted people to see my work. So, and, by word of mouth is how you get your business out there too, not just social media. So whenever I would bring flowers to somebody, and then this other friend would see those flowers, be like, "Oh, I love your flowers. Who made them for you?" And then, they would give my name out there. So
Mhm.
I was doing things nonstop the first year, and it was getting really hard. Like, my family were very gracious and understanding and patient, because a lot of times they would be my helpers. They would
Mhm.
be the ones helping me out, getting things ready, getting them out the door with me. So my family has been a very fundamental, my faith in God, as
Mhm.
He opened the doors, and my family, those have been my greatest supporters, from the very beginning. So
Mhm.
you have to make sure, when you start a business like this, you have to make sure that your family is on board with you
Mhm.
to do this, because there's a lot of sacrificing, a lot of sacrificing the time and everything, just being on your phone, answering text messages, answering emails, phone calls. It's a lot of that,
Mhm.
so you have to make sure that your family is understanding of what you're about to start. And then once you get your solid, your business is a little more solid, the second year, I would start weed eating. That's when you start weed eating
Mhm.
and start saying, okay, this is just not something I'm going to take any longer. You have the privilege to be picky. You can be picky about things that you want to take and what you don't want to take. And you can, that way you can guard more your time with your family. But if
Mhm.
you yes, so starting a business, you sacrifice a lot of it, but you don't want to stay that way, because if you continue to stay that way, your family will suffer, and your body and your mental sanity will suffer
Mhm.
too. You don't want to get burned out to the point that you don't love what you do any longer. So that is one goal I have, that I want to still love what I do. So I'm starting to say no now, and
Mhm.
it feels good, actually.
Mhm. I bet. Yeah, I think one of the coolest aspects of owning your own business is you have that opportunity to say no. Because I think, if you worked for some other florist company, they'd be like, you have to, take whatever requests you get in. And I think it's great that you're able to only work with the things that you want to work with at this point.
Exactly. That's right. Yes, that's just the way it has happened. And I'm thankful, that
Mhm.
I got to this point already. It's you're climbing a mountain. And once you get, I don't say I am to the top just yet. I think
Mhm.
I am kind of halfway there, but once you get higher and higher, you to that mountain, to where you want to accomplish, it feels good, to be able to say, I don't have to carry all this weight on me. I can start, just getting rid of, a little bit at the time, those things that are just not helping me get to what I need
Mhm.
to be.
That's great. If you could start your business over again, is there anything that you wish that you had known beforehand, or wish that you had learned a little bit sooner?
Yes, well, it's impossible for you to know it all when you start. I really think that I have had amazing experiences. I have had a really, really good journey as of right now. And I would take the good and the bad, because you learn so much from the good. So you know
Mhm.
what you don't want to do anymore and what doesn't work for you. And then, but one thing that I would maybe do more of is just educate myself a little more on the field. Once you know what is your field, what is it that you want to do, just educate yourself a little more, ask more questions before you jump in the wagon, because once you get your name out there and people like what you're doing, I mean, you're already there, and you have to
Mhm.
keep on going, So I would, be very wise, how you spend your time and money. There were a lot of things that I invested money in, and it just was not really necessary. So I would definitely try to, study the market,
Mhm.
a little bit more, what works, what doesn't work, what people like. I really think that the one thing I would stick with is starting from home, because I didn't have to get a loan or anything like that to be able to get a place. My husband is a small business owner, and he guided me with that, because I was ready, to find a place. I was dreaming of, I want this cottage like,
Mhm.
place, and I was already looking. And my husband said, you have to wait. You cannot do that just yet, because you don't even know. You don't even have a clientele.
Mhm.
You don't have your clients yet. So how do you know that people are going to like your work and they're going to come and buy things from you? So far it was just my good friends that love me very much and were gracious and would get things from me, right? But I don't know if everybody else will like it as well. So my husband just told me, you have to start from home. And sure enough, I have a ton of pictures. I can show you the transformation of my
Mhm.
kitchen and my dining room when I'm waiting ready for an event. My house is my studio right now.
Mhm.
So that has been really great for me. So I would definitely stick with that, as long as possible until you feel okay, I am ready now to
Mhm.
invest in a place. But as far as doing things differently, is just mostly educating yourself and knowing your product, and what is it that people love and don't love, so you know exactly where to invest your money in.
Right. So I think you touched on it a little bit more, but if you had one piece of advice to somebody who was just starting out with their small business or just was thinking about
Mhm.
starting a small business, what would it be?
Yes, yes. Well, like I said from the beginning, like there's one phrase that I love that I just recently saw it somewhere, and it says that good things take time to grow.
Mhm.
And sure enough, good things take time to grow. In my case, I have been a witness of that and
Mhm.
experience. I have experienced that. So I would reach out. In my case, I had my husband to guide me through all these things because he had already started his own business a couple of years before I did. So he was able to help me with a lot of the steps. But I'll tell you what, there are so many groups out there. So that's my advice to you, to reach out to those groups. There are some business networks that you can reach out to, like BNI. I cannot name all of them, but I know BNI is one of them. That's one of my husband reached out to them,
Mhm.
and they were wonderful as far as networking, and letting you, the exchange of this is
Right.
what I can do, what can you do. They recommend you and they help you. They answer questions. There's also the Chamber of Commerce, in your area. They have been very helpful to me as well in my county right here, the
Mhm.
Chamber of Commerce of Benton. They have been amazing. So there are those small groups that can support you and help you as far as the marketing and things like that, that you can reach out to. So I would totally do that, just to get the experts, to
Right.
advise you and help you on how to invest and that
Mhm.
kind of thing. So and just be patient, be very patient. One thing I want to say that is really important to me, and I want just to leave everybody with this. um, Social media can be brutal. I mean, very brutal, because a lot of people, when they start their businesses, they get discouraged because they don't have hundreds and hundreds of followers. Um, but let me tell you that the number of followers that you have on your social media accounts, it doesn't determine the success of your business. Um, I can tell you I can tell you firsthand, that it has taken me a long time to build my audience on
Mhm.
social media. But the number of followers that I have there has not determined the success of my business.
Mhm.
Like, you can have thousands of followers and not have a lot of business. It's just a phase. Social media is just a face for you to
Mhm.
sell your product, but it doesn't mean that you are being, because you have thousands of followers, means that you are very successful. I have just barely 1,000 followers and I am booked for the year. I do not stop. I'm busy constantly. So I just want people not to get discouraged, when you don't have all these followers. That's not how it works. Just continue to do the best thing. Talk to real people. Not just trust the social media. Talk to real people, knock on doors, and don't be afraid to ask other small businesses, to let you sell their products, and try your products, so that way you can get your name out there.
Right. How would you recommend going about contacting other small businesses to get your, say, inventory in their businesses as well?
Yes. Okay. So I'll just tell you briefly my story from when I started. So I had the vision, right? I told you, was the place I wanted to open a place, that had a coffee shop and a studio, a flower studio. And I shared this vision with my closest friends. Okay. So when I shared this vision with my closest friends, they were the ones that would tell me, oh, I know such and such that can do that for you, or can help you with this, or can help you with that. So just get your small group of friends and people that you trust, and you trust their advice, you trust their opinion, for them to tell you, because your friends know another set of friends or people that you don't know, and they can recommend you. They can say, hey, I know this. I have had an amazing group of friends that have recommended me and have said, hey, call Nitzia, she can help you with that. So just that's the very first thing, that I would do. And then after that, as they tell you and give you ideas, go to this place, go to this other place, then start knocking on doors, making phone calls, just make a phone call and say, hey, I have this arrangement, would you want it? Like, for example, when COVID, when we were shut down, right at the beginning of COVID, I remember that I had all these flowers that I had already ordered to sell at the bakeries, but they shut down, so we couldn't sell them. So I had all these flowers, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do with all of this? I was really frustrated. So I thought, well, I'm not going to get depressed and sad about this. I will call people, and I start calling businesses and say, hey, you want these flowers? So I like places that were still open, for a little longer. And I would give them away. Like, I remember I went to this beauty salon, and there were these people getting their hair done, and I just passed out my bouquets to them, just to tell them, hang in there, or whatever, just encouragement, right? So I remember that after that, my phone did not stop ringing, because during that time, people were in their homes, they couldn't get out, and they were sad and depressed. So people would call me and say, hey, can you take a bouquet of flowers to such and such, because they're so sad and they can't get out. So my goodness, my business actually blossomed during that time of the year. It's crazy to say that, but for me, it was actually really good, because I was able to encourage people and brighten people's day, when I brought them flowers, so that just made a world of a difference to me, as far as my mission, why I do what I do, what I do, to bring people a smile, and to make them feel better, and to encourage them and brighten their day. So yeah, for sure. I think that that's pretty much, how I would, recap, the mission.
And it does look like we have one question in the chat. Somebody asked, whenever you first started, how did you manage your financials? How was it, I guess to kind of elaborate on the question, was it difficult for you to try to grasp the financial side and take care of
Yes.
like the accounting and taxes and things of that nature?
Yes, yes. So I just went to the very, the very basics. I just had, a notebook right there, like this one, and I would have, half of it was expenses, the other half was, whatever I was making in. So you have to keep track of everything, because for tax purposes, you have to do that. You have to keep every single receipt that you have. So just go to the Stone Age way of doing it. Like, I would have a Ziploc bag with all of my receipts, and keep track of every month. I would try to do it monthly, just turn in all my receipts and write it down, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. So at the end of the year, I could see how much I spent and how much I made. Sadly, the first year, you will pretty much not make anything. I was always able to make my money back. I have always been able to make my money back, always. That is one thing that I want to tell you, that you need to make sure that you at least make your money back. You don't want to have to spend more than what you need to, and feel like, okay, I'm not making any money, because that is extremely discouraging. I did flush, money at the very beginning, that I was buying all this what they call it, premium flowers, that because I wanted to do something different, I was spending money on really expensive flowers. and charging for a Kroger like bouquet, you know. So that's just how I did it at the beginning, and maybe it was not the best thing to do, but then again, is what allowed people to see the potential that I had and the work that I could do. So as far as finances go, I would definitely reach out to an accountant. We did that, you know, my husband, again, you know, he helped me a lot with that. And you know, you do have to have an expert to guide you and show you what, because you know, taxes can be really complicated. You know, you have to turn in everything that you buy wholesale and that kind of thing, so you have to keep track of everything. So I would definitely reach out, and that is why I mentioned earlier, my advice to you is to reach out to those small groups, you know, like BNI was one of them, the business network. If you can reach out to people like them, they can help you, you know, with, okay, you can go to this person and they can help you with your finances, you know, that kind of thing. So so yes, if you have a best friend, you know, that can help you to do that for free, then go for it. You know, I would reach out to your friends first and they can help you get started. That way you don't have to invest a lot of money in paying somebody to help you how to do the finances. But it all depends on the business that you're trying to start. So
Right. Thank you so much for that. I think just a thing for everybody watching, you can submit more questions in the chat if you want. We'll give probably like a minute or two to see, and then nobody else has any questions, I think we are good to end. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining this program and answering all of the questions. You've given a lot of great information. So we at Cows really appreciate you coming in and sharing your business experience.
yes, well, thank you so much, Lauren. I really appreciate that you asked me to share my humble experience. You know, I'm still there in the process, you know, but I love that I can share and encourage those out there that would like to start, you know, their journey as a small business. It is possible. You know, you just have to be patient and love what you do. Don't get discouraged. It does happen when you get discouraged, but just keep on going. You know, try to just believe in yourself, believe in God, believe in yourself. You know, have your support group, and just go. Like I said earlier, the world is big enough. There's enough room for all of us to go out there and do what you love.
Okay, and just before we close off, in case anybody was interested, do you have your contact information? How can people get a hold of you if they're interested in looking at your arrangements?
Yes, so I have you know, have my social media. You know, you can my email address. You know, the best way for people to contact me is through email, which is nitziasdesigns@gmail.com. My phone number is 501-551-7754. Or you can find me on social media. You know, I'm on Instagram and I am on Facebook as well. So if you ever need to look at my work and see what I can do, you can always look me up. As of right now, I am already booked for the year as far as events, you know, but I'm already taking, you know, consultations for next year. So if I can ever assist you with anything or any questions, I'm always more than happy to help.
Well, thank you so much. I think this concludes our program. Once again, we really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Have a good day.
Bye.